PASCAL. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up? We have really got to have a conversation with our children. Long story short, these things that we are talking about as of late, especially when it comes to Carmelo, Anthony, and all these other cases as well, these are getting really out of hand. And we have got to have a serious sit down with our children because these kids are straight up wilding out here in these high school streets. Now, the thing is that there's this new tragedy, or not a tragedy, but a new incident, almost a tragedy. We'll see what happens. But there's a new incident that happened out in West Potomac High School in Virginia. And again, I have to say, some people are wondering if this is another Carmelo Anthony situation. And I have to tell you, well, I've seen the footage. And I'm going to tell you, real talk, this one, because we've seen the footage, this kid tried to take this other kid out. Now, let me explain. Because, of course, when it comes to Carmelo Anthony with the Austin Metcalf situation, the only reason why I say what I just said is because we have not seen any footage. We don't know what really went down and all that. When the evidence does come out, it's going to be a different conversation. But this one right here, this particular story is absolutely insane. And I'm not showing you guys the footage because it's way too graphic. I'm going to be real. It's way too graphic. Can't put this on that platform. But please, if you are interested, curious about it, I highly recommend you go to X and go check it out. It's even in news reports on YouTube as well, but it's way too graphic to share on here. And just so you guys get a breakdown, looks like there's two kids that got into fisticuffs with each other. One of them is winning. He is definitely winning the fight. Then he turns around. He's running at I guess there's another guy in the fight as well. He got involved to protect his friend who was actually getting the beat down, right? So the guy that was winning turns around and starts fighting the other kid. The kid who is beaten on the ground gets up, grabs a sharp object, and attacks, puncturing him multiple times, to the point now that this kid is hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. And I'm telling you right now, when you see the footage, it is not self-defense. This kid is not protecting himself. He literally grabbed a weapon that he had on his person, which I assume he was expecting a fight to go down that day. And he had that weapon with him, knowing that he was going to use it. And then he did exactly what I just said. He used it and punctured this kid multiple times with this sharp object, if you get what I'm saying. Again, we really need to start having conversations with our kids, with our loved ones, with our littles. There needs to be some sort of program in schools that are solely on conflict resolution programs, teaching kids how to deal with conflict, dealing with confrontation, on how to walk away from a fight with your head held high rather than thinking that you're some weak individual. Nonetheless, it is absolutely insane. We're going to be talking about this, and I'm going to be sharing some footage because this is absolutely crazy. And again, this is more and more why I keep wondering why kids aren't being homeschooled. It's getting to that place where kids are coming in with knives straight up and trying to take people out. This kid, the kid who's attacked, he's leaking red all over the place. It is an absolute graphic scene that you can't unsee. And you got all these other kids that are watching this, seeing this as well. It's absolutely crazy. But we're going to talk about all that here in a second. Let's get into this article here. All right. So 16-year-old is attacked by another fellow student. All right. And we're just going to talk about this. And again, this has nothing to do with a black and white thing or a white and black thing. These are two kids that they look Hispanic, but I don't know. Okay. They look Hispanic, but anything's possible. And at the same time, the race shouldn't even matter, because no matter what, these kids are doing this in a school with a mixture of all kinds of young kids. All those kids were in danger. All of them, all races were in danger with that fight. Yeah, I get it. It's not a pew pew, okay? It's not a firearm, but at the same time, what if he went and attacked other people, or he overswung, or he missed and hit somebody else? Still, no matter what, it is scary and is bad, and it also inspires other kids to bring those kinds of weapons into the school as well. The fact that this kid had it on school grounds, I'm hoping he gets hit with the full extent of the law, because you got a kid hanging by a thread right now, fighting for his life in that hospital, and he shouldn't be. Again, what happened to fisticuffs? You know, you got these two 5 pounds of meat and bone. What happened to that? You know, you come back, yeah, you have a couple of scrapes and bruises and stuff, but you at least go back home alive. What happened to that? And I'm not sitting here condoning any type of violence, but at the same time, I'd rather see a fight with fisticuffs than people getting poked, punctured in a school. Let's get into this, guys. This is absolutely insane, and it's true. A 16-year-old was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries after he was poked or punctured, okay, by a classmate at a Northern Virginia high school, according to local officials. The student was attacked by a 15-year-old boy when 3 students got into a fight inside West Potomac High School in Fairfax County at 9:40 a.m. Just a little unaliving in the morning, in between social studies and arithmetic. This is absolutely insane. So this happened Wednesday morning. So yesterday, according to Fairfax County Police Department, the 16-year-old student was rushed to a local hospital with critical injuries. This kid was attacked multiple times, guys. And again, that kid did not have a weapon on him either. He was using his fists, and that's it. Just good old-fashioned fists. And this other kid felt some type of way about losing and attacked him with that knife that he had on his person. And I'm going to keep it real. That kid brought that knife to school knowing that he was going to use it that day. That's what I truly believe, because he came out readily available with that thing. It's not like he said, hold up, let me go to my locker and then run over to his locker and get it. No, it was on his person, turned around and started attacking the kid. Was it warranted? No. So, but this kid is now stable. Thank God, and recovering. That's good. Okay, that's according to what the police chief Davis told reporters was a sign of relief for the entire community. So, the assailant, who has not been identified, was taken into custody and has been charged with malicious wounding. And this is where I hit the horn real quick. And I say, why isn't it attempted M? Why is it not attempted unaliving, for lack of a better code word? Make sense. Malicious wounding? This kid's life is hanging by a thread. He had a weapon on school grounds. He had intent on taking this kid out. And therefore, this should be attempted M, not malicious wounding. The fuck? Miss me with that nonsense. But moving on, a knife was recovered at the scene. There were no outstanding suspects in the isolated incident, cops said. So the third student was being questioned by police, but Davis does not anticipate he will be charged with a crime because he's not the one who's holding the kniff. He's not the one holding the doggone weapon. He was just fighting. I could see maybe, other charges maybe, but not attempted M or malicious wounding, which is the weakest weak sauce I've ever heard of. Okay? This 15-year-old, as they say, tried to take that guy out. He was trying to delete that guy. Real talk. Disturbing footage circulating among the student bodies shows the students brawling in the hallway. Another image reportedly shows students and adults hovering over a teenager who is actually leaking like crazy on the floor. Like I said, I can't show you the footage. Okay, the attacker and the victim were known to each other, cops said. And I feel like this is like some crazy street beef. or some BS like school beef that was going on. Maybe one is the bully and one isn't, and then finally they just had enough and everything came to a head. Or they've had fights in the past, blah blah blah, and everything came to a head in this particular fight. I don't know, but it's very interesting, and again, a very disturbing and sad situation. It's sad the attacker is 15, but we're working through the circumstances of his involvement and the involvement of others. So the school remained open. Students were back in their classes after the attack, which is insane. I'd be like, yo, school's over. We need to release the kids from this trauma and let them process this as well. But okay, I guess they don't want to. I guess they don't want to have to bleed over on extra days. After, I guess they don't want to extend school days because of this particular tragedy, which makes no sense. But okay, moving on. While there's a sense, obviously, of shock that this would happen, I'm very proud of the response of our staff in this incident, she said, thanking the first responders who may have saved a life today. There were no metal detectors in place at that school. This is what we have heard as well. But at the end of the day, this is a very messed up situation. We do have some photos that I want to share with y'all. First, let's take a look at the attacker. He is holding most definitely a very large, sharp object in his hand. That is without question a sharp object. You can see this is the kid. He was getting a beat down by the other kid. That kid turned around, the 16-year-old boy turned around because he was getting hit by another kid, turns around and he starts attacking the other kid. This man right here, this 15-year-old boy, grabs whatever he had on him and just starts shink, 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 shink. Like I said, it's absolutely insane. All right. But that is clearly not a knife to peel apples with. All right. That's not a kitchen knife for sure. That is most definitely, in my personal opinion, used for protection or to cause harm on somebody else. But there it is, that kid doing that. Now, what's also interesting is there's been a lot of people asking, and I'm curious about this too, because people are curious about, there's this guy that was walking through the school. He's clearly an adult. And a lot of people are wondering if this guy is staff and he's just walking by while the kid is getting attacked, while this kid is getting a knife punctured into his body. And this seemingly staff member just walks right by like it's not a big deal. Or they're sitting there going, beyond my pay grade, I'm gonna walk right over here and teach my kids. I'm not stopping that. I'll be right over here if you need me. I got a whole bunch of wet naps in my office or in my classroom if you need that. But I ain't got nothing else for you. I'll be right over there though. See you when I see you. That's kind of crazy. All right. But people are actually wondering about that too. And I get it to a certain extent. It's like, yo, I'm just a custodian or I'm just I don't know. I'm just a social studies teacher. I don't study jujitsu or Krav Maga. I don't know how to stop this. Way beyond my pay grade. And I still have a life to live. I'm not losing it over this. I get it to a certain extent, but I can see why there's a lot of parents asking some questions about the staff, knowing that the fight was going on and not doing anything about it. But again, guys, these are more and more reasons why I feel like people are looking at homeschooling more than ever before. Because we have incidents like what happened with Austin Metcalf and the Carmelo Anthony case. We got this situation here as well. And when you see the video, that is straight up attempted M. There's no question. It is not self-defense. It is not that at all. This kid goes running across the hallway after the kid with that weapon and starts just going after him. That is insane. That's the only difference between the Carmelo Anthony case and this case. Because we've seen the footage. When we see the footage with Carmelo Anthony, I know it's going to be a different conversation for sure. It'll either be that is 100% self-defense, or Oh, he really ran after that guy. He really just did that, right? That's not self-defense. That's it. That is malicious intent. That is M. But with this one, this kid had malicious intent. This is attempted M. Thank God that kid, the 16-year-old, the victim, is still alive for now. And I hope he holds through and he gets through it and he heals and he passes with flying colors so he can live to fight and see another day. But I'm telling you right now, these streets are losing their doggone minds. We got kids who are literally making very, very life or death choices at school. There shouldn't be that at all. We should be better. These kids should be better. I don't even understand why they're thinking about the demise of somebody in between classes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, guys, what say you about this? Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. And we'll talk here soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Oh, my Lord. Be good to one another. And we'll talk here soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.